Hello fellow crafters, today we're going to use double stenciling and some glitter paste. Let's begin. So the first thing we're doing is we're going to place our cardstock on a sticky mat or anything to keep it stable. You could tape it down to your glass mat or whatever mat that you have. And then we're going to pull out the Bold Boutique stencil from GinaK Designs, and we're going to find the placement that we want. Now, you do not have to put it in the exact placement that I put it in. Again, you can use other stencils that you may have. You're just going to place the stencil in an area that you see fit. And for me, I wanted to kind of get it to that edge where it kind of comes out of the corner, and I'm going to push the stencil against my sticky mat. If you don't have a sticky mat, you can use tape. I will be using tape on this project only because the sticky mat is not fully holding the entire stencil around the card. So I wanted to make sure that it does stay stable and it doesn't move. So I did put some masking tape that I have on our sticky mat and the project just to give it some stability and reinforce that it won't move, right? So I'm going to use Peony, I believe is the name, from Simon Says Stamp. This is their saturated ink line, and we're going to put a very, very light coating of ink. Because that we're going to be utilizing the same ink twice, you want to go light, and then when you change the design, you can go bolder. Now, do you have to use the same ink? Of course not. I could have used maybe a light pink and then I have a darker pink. I could have maybe used something that goes in the color wheel that may mix well with it to give it maybe a purple look. So your options are endless, honestly. You do what you see fit. You can make this a rainbow for all I care. Like, it's all about what you are comfortable with. So now we're going to take the Pretty Pink Posh Pinstripes stencil. And we're not going to remove our other stencil, our floral stencil. We're going to leave that stencil there, and we're going to place the stripe pattern on top of the floral stencil. Now, any stencil that you have that may have a repeating design can be doable with this technique. It doesn't have to be the stripes. Stripes is what I have. I believe I have some other ones, but the stripe is a lot easier for you to see and kind of get a gist of the technique. So I taped my stripe stencil on top of my floral stencil, and then I'm going to ink over that, and I'm going to go along the stripes. Reason why is because those stripes are not, I did not use pixie spray or anything like that, so it will move and you don't want it to shift your design. So I'm going with the groove of the stripes and putting a darker layer. This is going to give that double stencil look. So when we remove this, you're going to see that stripe look on your floral image or stencil image. So I'm applying again a more bolder pink color. I want it to be as vibrant as possible. And then I'm going to pull back the stencil, see how it looks. It does look a hot mess right now, but remember that we are inking on top of a stencil, so you really cannot see the full pattern. But when I take it off, look how beautiful that looked. Now you have an option of going along the same diagonal direction you were going and just filling it in, or you can do what I did and shift it, turn it around, and we're going the opposite direction. Now what that's going to do is going to give us like a crisscross pattern. I did remove the I did remove the floral stencil, And I'm going to use marine marine from Simon Says Saturated Ink, which is a blue color. It's a very light, powdery blue color. And at first, I wanted to see like maybe if I did like a fade type of a look. So I just went around the floral image without going over it at first to see how it looks. And I'll show you exactly how that looks in case that is the technique that you're going for or the look that you're going for. It is beautiful, it looks nice, but I wanted a little bit more. I wanted to show that variation of color as well as a completion of that design throughout my card panel. So I'm going to lift it up and show you. It looks beautiful like this, but I want to go over it. And what's going to happen is when we ink over the floral pattern, it's going to give it a very, very light hint of purple on our floral pattern. You'll still see that pink, but it's going to give us a light purple. And I love how that looks because you still see the pink, but you do see a hint of purple. So I'm going to go over that. And then don't forget that the areas that the stripe is covering is going to be pink. Look how beautiful that looks. And it's kind of trippy. Your eyes, you know, it has that cross on the floral area, but then it has the stripes on the outside. I love how this design turned out. It was very mind-blowing for me. Like, I was very proud of myself. So I'm going to cut down the card panel slightly because I want to mat it behind rather a pink or a blue. I was not sure. Ultimately, I decided to not use the pink and blue and went with black. These things happen when we are crafting. We always change our mind. Do not get upset with yourself for being undecisive. That is all part of crafting. We are supposed to be undecisive because it's our creativity that's being activated. We're going to try new things, and sometimes it's not going to work, and that's okay. So I'm going to use this You Matter from Simon Says Stamp Dies. Simon Says Stamp Dies, yes, okay. It kind of got me confused. I wasn't sure if I said stamp or dies. I'm going to cut down a sheet just so I can cut it out easy through my die cutting machine. I'm using a Sizzix. And I cut out the 3 in white and then 1 in black. But then I looked at how it looked on the the card panel on a black cardstock to mat it with black. And honestly, I liked it. It was a lot better, and I think it helped to bring in that black from the sentiment in and not overpower the blue or overpower the pink. So I ended up going with that. So now we're going to glue all the You Matters together and place that on our cardstock. Now, again, you do not have to place it exactly where I did. I just wanted to place it in a place that kind of still shows the background and the work and the techniques that we used without hiding it. But at the same time, I still wanted the sentiment to matter. But I ended up deciding once again, the last minute, to change up my design. Now, I wanted to give it a little bit more pizzazz. I wanted to pop up. So I decided I wanted to put some glitter, some Hero Arts glitter glaze on there. Glitter paste, excuse me. So I took some mint tape that I got from Scrapbook.com, and what I did was I carefully placed it around the border to protect the border from getting any paste on it. And I went all the way around. This is just to make sure that we're going to put the paste and it's going to only go on our cardstock, not on the border that we placed on our card. And I tried to be very tactical with it, so kind of making sure that I did not cross over into my card by bending it slightly, pushing it against the edge, and then taping it down. And that made sure that I actually went around the card and I did not go on top of the card. you don't have to use the mint tape that I'm using. You can use any type of washi tape or masking tape that you have at home that will still be removable, not cause any tears to your design or to your cardstock, and strong enough for you to not rip, but remove without ripping off the paste. Now I didn't put any on top because I'm not gonna go that high. And then I put an additional tape on the side to hold my stencil down. Now, the Hero Arts glitter paste is a miracle worker. It does an amazing job at grabbing that color from the background and bringing it forward, and still adding that glitter to it. So it kind of, I guess you could say, takes that color and becomes that color, right? It absorbs it into the paste so that when you see it, it's still pink. It doesn't change it. It's not a white. Now they do have a white pearl one, but we're using the Hero Art glitter paste one, and that, I love it. I really do. You've seen me, I'm sure, use this multiple times. And especially during my Christmas season, when I start doing Christmas cards, you're going to see a lot of it. So I'm just going to take a little bit, well, a generous amount, honestly, because this is a big stencil. So I'm just going to take a generous amount onto a, I'm not sure what these tools are called. I just call it a spatula of some sort. So I take a generous amount of it, I placed it on top of my stencil, and I will go and scrape it in, but I'm going to be very careful for those areas that are intricate, or like where that leaf is. It has a loose stencil, so it kind of just comes out, and it can fold back if you want it to, but of course no one wants to do that. But you don't want to get it away from all those tiny details. So if there's a piece that you can move, you're going to want to go in that direction, as I am doing here. I am pushing it towards the end of the leaf so that it does not lift that part of the stencil up. And as you can see, I'm trying to make sure I use every little bit that I have. I don't want to waste any, because I do love these. And I don't know if you guys have that habit, but like sometimes I love a product so much, I fear using it. And then I want to save it for when I really want to use it. But then it ends up going bad, right? So we have to use our products. Like, we cannot store it forever and keep it forever as much as we want to. We have to use our products. So don't be afraid to pull out that glitter paste or any paste that you have to add that bit to it. And if you wanted to, you could have actually added maybe some light, fine, very fine glitter on top of it to give it more. But I'm telling you, the Hero Arts glitter paste is enough glitter. And once you are done adding your paste, you're gonna want to wash your stencil and whatever spatula or tool that you use right after you use it, because if it sticks on there, it is a pain to get off. You're gonna have to scrape, sand. It's a lot of work. So okay, so now we're gonna place it on my Simon Says stamp sticky mat or stencil mat. That's going to help it with the warping as it dries. And I probably should have put it on there first and then put the paste. That way it would be well stuck on there, but you know, we come up with ideas at the last minute, and it's okay. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna put that aside. I'm just checking to see if that still looks good the way I want it to. And we're gonna allow it to dry for, alrighty, now that it is dry, it's still, as you can see at that corner, it's still kind of lift up, but it's completely dry now. So we're gonna bend back that mat, that stencil mat, and we're gonna carefully lift it up, and that'll help to protect our card from bending further. And I'm gonna cover my stencil mat back just to maintain that stick, so that, you know, we take care of our craft stuff, our products. So with this, I kind of just bent it a little bit because it still had a little bit of warping from the I cannot speak today, from the glitter paste. So I just kind of bent it a little bit, not too much to cause a crease, but slightly just to kind of get it to where I need it to be. There was a little end that was sticking out, so we just did a little surgery by just putting a little bit of glue back there, and this is my Burberry Arts Precision Glue, and covering it back up, and then putting a little block on there. I think I used a jar to add pressure because I needed it to be really heavy, so my blocks wouldn't have done the work. Now we are going to start putting our sentiment on our card. I can leave that block there for now. It's not a big deal while I'm drying, or while I'm waiting for the glue to dry. And now I'm going to put some scrapbook adhesive sheets, that's a double-side adhesive sheet, on the back of my panel to place on my base, my card base. So I'm going to take an 4 1/4 by 11, and we're going to score it with my score buddy at 5 1/2, and this will make a top folding card. Now, if you want to make a side folding card, you would have a 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, and then you will score it at 4 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and enforce that fold, make sure that it is creased well, and then I'm going to take that scrapbook adhesive sheet and remove the brown background. You'll see there's a white that has the scrapbook.com in the front, and then there's a brown tannish kind of a color in the back of it. So I'm just going to take that and I'm going to place it right behind my card panel. And I'm going to carefully place it at the bottom. Once I think it's perfect, I'm going to go ahead and just put pressure all the way up to make sure that it is permanent. And then we're going to remove the release paper very carefully. We don't want to pull it off or bend our cards trying to take it off. It is very, very sticky. And then we're going to place that on our card base. Now, if you decided to mat your card with the card base, you just have to make it slightly a little bit smaller, but I'm going to start at the top, place it down, and apply pressure once I know it's in a perfect position. Now, understand that when you are matting, when you're placing your panel on a card base, it's better for you to start on top and then go down. Reason why is because if the bottom has maybe too much or excess paper, you can easily cut that off with your trimmer, but you cannot cut the top, which has your hinge for your card. So it is easier for you to just start at the top and then go ahead and line it down. I'm going to add some Burberry Arts Precision Glue behind my sentiment and go ahead and place that on my card. I'm going to use the dot technique so that it doesn't seep out into my project and then we have glue everywhere. We look like a kindergartner just starting to make cards for the first time. So we're going to be very careful and just use dots when putting our glue behind our sentiment. I'm going to place that down. I've been really good with keeping it straight and eyeballing it, but still I take out my T-ruler and make sure that it is straight, and then I apply pressure to make sure that it is perfectly adhered where I want it to be. I'm going to place now an acrylic block on this and give it time to dry, and while that happens, we're going to use sequences. We're going to go for iridescent light turquoise. I like that. It's cute. Pull this out, and we're going to go for 5. We're not going to complicate this time. I say that, but watch it get complicated. Because it's gems, like it's sequences, and sequences like define. It's like it can bring out the beauty, and it can also cause a distraction, right? So like that. And bring it closer so you guys could see. It's just very subtle. I think that's perfect. It's not taking away. Yeah. And I think it brings your eyes to the center. So we'll go with that. We did it. That might be, I have to admit, the quickest I have ever figured out where my sequences are gonna go. Because it does not normally go that fast. And there is the finished card. I hope I was able to give you guys some type of inspiration and ideas that you can apply to your card making techniques at home. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed the content, and go ahead and hit that notification button so that you will know when I upload new videos. Don't forget, you matter, you're beautiful, and your creation is the art of this world. Thank you. Bye.